Hi there, writers. Welcome to week 1 of Revision Bootcamp with Through the Loft Literary Center. My name is Jen again, and I'll be your teaching artist throughout the next 6 weeks. And I'm very excited today to sort of kick off our first week by just talking about the basics of revision and what it really means to revise. So the word revision literally means to see again. And so that's what we're going to focus on in the next 6 weeks. We're going to be looking in kind of large scope, and we'll also be looking in a smaller scope at our own writing, and I'll be helping you to practice some new tools that maybe you haven't encountered before as you look at your own work. So I think sometimes what happens is that we are really close to our own work, and it requires us, the work itself requires us to create a little bit of distance there. So first of all, I just want to quickly draw your attention to the goals for the week. Okay, and so hopefully you've had a chance to take a look at some of the introductory information, navigating the online learning environment, watching the introductory video. And so this week, as I said, we're thinking about this concept of revision itself. In the discussion forum, what I'd really like you to do to help us start kind of building a community and learning to find out who one another is, I would like you to respond to this prompt. It says here, please tell us what project or projects you bring to this course and describe your goals and struggles regarding revision. What questions do you have for me? So those can be questions about any part of the writing process, or what you recommend, what recommendations you're looking for things to be reading, but also just how does the course work. Those kinds of questions are great too. I also would like to invite you to post a little bit of your writing, maybe a poem or a couple of paragraphs. We'll keep it short, just to give us a little taste of your style. That would be really nice. It will also help us to set sort of a little bit of a benchmark so that later in the course we can look back and see how far we've grown. I think that'll be really exciting. So, again, you can just navigate by clicking on that breadcrumb trail to get back to the main course page. So in addition to taking a look at a piece of writing of your own that you'd like to maybe work on, I'd like you to post to that discussion forum. And then I've also got another article listed here called Creative Writers in Revision. It's a bit of a longer article, so we don't need to comment on it this week, but I'd like to just put it out there for you to read, and we'll follow up on it in another week. And I've also got a link here to a webpage of famous artists' rough drafts, and I think they're really great to look at, and they offer a lot of insight into what kinds of revision we can engage with. And so on that note, I'd like to talk about a couple of different ways that we're going to look at revision. And primarily, I usually start out by thinking a little bit about the writing process itself. So within the writing process, as you know, you've got to start with some pre-writing and tinkering and playing around with characters and ideas and words and concepts and themes and images. And then we get our words down on paper during the drafting phase. Now, that may be exactly where most of us are right now, is we've got something drafted and we're sort of like, now what? So I think what's important is this triangle that happens here, where we get to responding, whether that's sharing our work with someone else and getting a response, or responding to our own writing. And that's where we find ourselves in that revision stage, looking at areas of voice, ideas, organization, our words, the diction, the fluency of our language. And those are more style issues. So notice, though, I think that this critical piece is the triangle in the middle of what looks like the 6 or the spiral. And that triangle really indicates that once you've done some revision and some responding, very often you're sent right back into the drafting stage and even the pre-writing stage. So don't be, upset if you find yourself needing to do a great deal of more writing. That's okay, and that's normal. So that's one thing I wanted to put out there this week. The second thing I'd like to invite you to think about are these 4 questions that are, originally I came across them working with some people at the Wiseman Art Museum, and they are questions that are intended to be applied to a work of visual